Welcome to the New Hollywood Show. So thankful to bring this show to you every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Hey, listen, Daredevil is born again. He's back. Daredevil's back, everybody. But here's the question. Can he save Disney Plus? I don't know. We're going to talk about that. And hey, Hollywood, or I should say the old Hollywood is hanging on just barely. We've been talking about it. We're going to talk about it some more today. I think so anyways. I think I saw a curveball there. I forgot to ask. I think there's a curveball happening, but we're going to see about that. And then Kathleen Kennedy, is she out? Is she staying? Where is she going? Like, I don't know. I don't know. We're going to talk about that as well. Whole bunch of stuff to get into. Let's dive in. Here we go. Hello, free thinkers, Hollywood professionals, and creatives worldwide. I got to turn my phone off. Forgot to silence that thing. That thing's not going to bother me now. I am Tatum Shank. We are Hollywood for Freedom, and this is our podcast to stay connected to you, our community of free thinking industry professionals and fellow like-minded patriots. Okay. There might be a curveball. I need to find this out. I should have asked before we started taping, but let's get the guys in here. First up, he is a co-founder of Hollywood for Freedom. He's the producer of this show, and he is he's the always quote unquote dapper Mr. Timothy Glover. Hi, Tim.
Hey, Tatum. No, there's no curveball that I know of. But let's get into the show and we'll see what...
I thought I saw something there in the notes that was different than what we talked about yesterday. But hey, we'll figure it out when we get to your article. Okay. Let's get our third partner in here. He is also a co-founder of Hollywood for Freedom. He's a producer, an actor, and a man with a mustache.
Oh, God. Come on.
See, that's a quote.
God, I hate you guys, man.
Is there a mustache there?
No, I just forgot to shave a spot. I was actually going to say, if you don't know of a curveball, trust me, you'll find out when it happens. And that is, speaking of headphones, we talked about that earlier. Tim, did you just get even better ones? Like,
wait, what?
No,
wait a minute, what's going on
these
here?
Are the same.
Oh, they look like music, like what musicians use on stage, like the one that just sits all fully in your ear.
Well, they are. That's what they are. I play drums at church, and these are my church. You know,
look at that. God always working. There it is.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so those weren't actually purchased by Hollywood for Freedom.
No, they weren't.
Okay.
They weren't purchased for the show.
You to purchase some for us, though.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. We're waiting on that $10,000 donation to come in.
As soon as that $10,000 donation comes in, bam, these are gone. We got the new ones on.
He'll be bald like me, y'all. He'll be bald like me.
If you don't know what we're talking about, there is a standing offer if you make a donation to Hollywood for Freedom, you can go to the website, hollywoodforfreedom.com, donate there. If you make a $10,000 donation, I am shaving my head, literally cutting it all off, shaving it down, just because you were so good to give us that donation. It's a standing offer.
I think it's a good deal. I think it's a good deal.
You know, I think the deal, if we really stop and think about it, has a little bit to do with your home life more than just shaving your head. Like, you're going to have to deal with everything that comes with you being bald around your wife and kid.
That's why I can't do it for just $500. Yeah, I can do it for $500. Oh, what says the bald one? Do it for $500. I'm not doing that. Come on, it's got to be worth it. It's got to give us a little chance to, make something happen here. But we do want to keep bringing the show to you guys every week. So if you can, go to hollywoodforfreedom.com. Be a monthly donor. $25, $50, whatever you guys can do. We love those supporters there, and we're just excited to be doing the show every week. And we got some good stuff to talk about this week. So let's dive in, should we, with our news and notes with the good, the bad, and the ugly of the industry. All right. The good, the bad, and the ugly of the industry, not necessarily in that order, but I have got the first one up here. This is an article from Marvel.com. My friends over there at Marvel. 10 things to know before Daredevil Born Again. All right, get ready for Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk reunion in the new Marvel television series, which premiered March 4th on Disney Plus. Hey, welcome back to Hell's Kitchen. Marvel Television's highly anticipated new series, Daredevil Born Again, is here. It's reuniting Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk for a high-stakes showdown. The new show picks up after events of the original Daredevil series back in 2015. It follows blind lawyer Murdock, Charlie Cox, as he faces new threats and fights for justice in the courtroom. Meanwhile, former mob boss Fisk, Vincent D'Onofrio, is pursuing his own political endeavors, running for mayor of New York City. Both men are eager to leave their past confrontations behind, only to find themselves on an inevitable collision course. Okay, so the article goes on to list the 10 things, which I'm going to do for you here, kind of rapid fire. I just want to show off my tie for real quick. Get my tie on. Here you go. Daredevil tie. Siaki, did you notice that? Look.
I didn't see it till now, man. Oh, that's so cool. Turn it the other way.
Yeah, it's got to see it.
That's so cool. Flip hands.
Daredevil. Nice.
Yeah, anyways, that's good for you. Wow, that's good.
I thought that was important for me to wear that today, talking about Daredevil Born Again, trying to save Disney Plus. Let me read through this, just because the article talks about the 10 things to know. You should know these 10 things, and then I have a question for you guys. Number one, original stars Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are back, right? Reprising their roles. That's all cool. Number two, other familiar faces, Eldon Henson, who is Foggy Nelson, Deborah Ann Wool, Karen Page. So they're back from the original series. That's cool. I always love them that real actors come back for the parts. Right? It's good.
Right. Yeah.
Number three, Fisk seeks new power as mayor of New York City. Okay. Number four, Daredevil Born Again pays tribute to classic Marvel comics. This one I'm particularly interested in and excited about, because for me, in the 70s and 80s, collecting Daredevil was my number one. Like, he was my number one comic that I collected. He was my favorite. So if they're going to stay true, I'll be looking for them to stay true to the Marvel comics. Number five, showrunner Dario Scardapane has a long history with these characters. Oh. Okay, showrunner. I forget where he maybe The Punisher. Anyways, he's done some other shows, but that's good. Okay. Got some connections. And speaking of The Punisher, number six, The Punisher is back for this series. John Bernthal reprises his role, so that's cool. Again, another character. Number seven, meet Muse, the Deadly Artist. Okay, this is a new character. This is from actually after I stopped collecting. This is a newer character. I don't know. It's a guy that paints murals with blood or something. It's pretty graphic. I think that's what I read. We'll see. Number eight, one of Daredevil's oldest nemesis returns to haunt him, Wilson Bethel, as Bullseye. Now, this character, right? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. He was from the original comics when I collected his first appearance, Daredevil 131, I believe, 131. Anyways, he was back in the day when I was collecting. Number nine, Born Again brings the action. Legendary stunt coordinator Philip J. Silvera is back. So he did do the stunts on the original series.
Maybe he brought his whole crew back. Shout out to Chris Brewster, huh?
Right? Chris Brewster. I hope we should find out if he's back or not doing this. That's awesome. And number 10, season 2 is already in the works. So that's cool. All right. So there you go. I'm so excited. Like Daredevil, like I said, am I excited about Disney Plus? No. I'm excited about Daredevil. Yes. And we're going to find out if they can save Disney Plus and the mass exodus that we've been talking about over there with this one show. I doubt it, but hopefully they stay true to the first time. The first time around, it was really, really good. It was done on Netflix. It was really, really well done. Really excited. Yes, look at that, Daredevil right there.
Yeah, I'm a dork.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, check it out. So am I. Look at this. Look what I got.
We read them, Tim. We read them.
Yeah. We do read them.
And you buy merchandise.
And we buy merch. Yes, as you do.
Mostly about the stories.
It's mostly about the stories.
But, plushy Daredevils are cool. All right. My question to you guys is this. Will Disney Plus help themselves make a comeback with this Daredevil? Or has the damage been done? And as they say, is the writing on the wall? Which, by the way, is from the book of Daniel. Anybody? Writing on the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. For that scriptural reference. Hey, this is our weekly scripture reference. No. What do you guys think? You think Disney's going to make a comeback with this? Is going to help? I mean, it's getting good reviews and a lot of press and stuff. So, what do you think?
Well, I mean, honestly, I think that it's going to have to be. They've done so much damage. It's going to have to be word of mouth. And I think maybe if it does do well, it's going to be season 2 that you're going to see the result of. They also have to pack in a few more products in there for people to go, it's worth. Because one show on a streaming service like Disney doesn't really do it as much anymore.
Yeah.
Netflix still has a bunch of different things that can come out, where Disney is very specifically, the Disney cartoons from the past and Marvel. So Marvel kind of has a funky smell on it right now. So this series is gonna have to play out. For example, X-Men 97, rave reviews, but did low numbers because I think that was an effect of it. So I think with this one coming out and then the X-Men 97 season 2, that's going to be where you see if people will come back to it. So we still got another, I think, 6 months to a year for that. So we'll see.
I think you're right. I think there's going to have to be a lot more content than just one show.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
One kind of offshoot character like Daredevil, right? Like, Spidey, Hulk, Avengers, like these are the big ones, right? Like the next tier is like Daredevil's in that next tier. But I don't. Now, Tim, we found out last week that you're not much of a comic book aficionado at all. At all. And but would you have a comment on this about, do you think this will help or not? Or do you think the damage has been done at Disney?
Well, look, I agree with Siaka. I think it's going to take a lot more than that, and I think. Disney are so entrenched in their take on things, and I think they've disappointed audiences so much that I think it's going to take a while to sort of regain trust and momentum. I think what's in their advantage on this one is that Netflix did such a great job of the first season of this. Even me, as not a comic book fan, not necessarily a Marvel fan at all. I watched it and loved it. I thought it was a great. They treated the subject matter awesomely. Like, it was beautifully directed, it was beautifully shot. It was just really well done. So they got to. That might play to their advantage. It might also play against them as well, because Netflix have already raised the bar and set the bar so high that it's going to be hard to hit that. So who knows?
True.
Yeah. And go ahead, Siaka.
I was going to say a little tricks of the trade there. If anyone wants to actually watch it, wait 2 months and then just buy it for the month. That way you don't have to.
Yeah.
They come out every week. And if you do that, then you're paying for like 3 months worth of Disney Plus. That's just.
Right.
It's a little trick, guys. I didn't do it. I just heard about it on the internet.
Yeah, that's right. I wonder whether what set it apart on Netflix was that it was kind of not a one-off, but it was a feature season that was on Netflix, as opposed to part of the rest of the Marvel things and all the other stuff that's going on. It may just get lost in the midst of all that, so it may not stand out like it did on Netflix.
Yeah, and the first series, so it was 3 seasons, right? It was 2015, 16, 17, somewhere in that 18, somewhere in that range, right? It was 3 seasons, and then the Punisher, who was a character in the show as well, had his own kind of spin-off series. But then Daredevil in the comic books at some point was a part of a group called the Defenders, and they started spinning off more. The Daredevil did so well that Netflix, they started spinning off like Luke Cage. Luke Cage had his own series.
Yep.
Jenny Jones, like the girl, I don't know. Yeah. She had her own series, and then like the Iron Fist had his own series as well. So they started spinning off of this Daredevil, and I think at some point I kind of stopped watching them because you just get a lot.
Yeah, Iron Fist was boring.
Yeah, so they but Daredevil, they had the lightning in the bottle there. That was magic. It was really well done. I don't know if they get that back. We'll see. I mean,
for someone like me, I'm totally lost with everything that you just said. I remember watching it, I enjoyed it, and that's as far as it went for me. I didn't, the fact that they did all these spin-offs, like, who knows? I just got totally lost.
One of the reasons I mentioned all those, just to
help them out. We're here to help. We're here to help.
Thank you.
Just get that confused look in his eye. That's
last point on that, I'm gonna make fun of my Catholic brothers real quick. But Matt Murdock's a Catholic. Yeah. And in the show, and even in the comic books, he's always like struggling with his faith and what he does, right? And I was watching the movie, and I was also reading like the Reborn that actually is from the comics, and I'm thinking, this dude can have all the answers if he just read the Bible. Like, my goodness, like most of his struggles are like, why does God do this? I'm like, well, if you turn to Ezekiel, like, just read your Bible, Matt, you'll save yourself a lot of stress.
Yeah. That's nice.
And the show would be over. Probably.
Right.
Very like,
short season.
I shouldn't be beating people up like this. Oh, God.
Vigilante. No, that's not very biblical at all. All right. Okay, so that's Daredevil. That's my wheelhouse right there. I love it. I don't know if I'm going to get to see it. I don't know. I'm going to go maybe try to go watch the end of the season, the last season of the first run through, and just again to see what that was all about. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if we can get on to Disney Plus here and see this. I like Siaka's point, just save up and just get the month, because who wants to give them subscription for month after month after month? Anyways, Hollywood. Okay, so this is where I thought maybe there was a curveball, because I don't remember this. Forgive me, don't remember this from the production meeting yesterday. But is this, you have an article, something about Hollywood going away? More of that, Tim? Is that true? Is that
yeah? So this is a Reuters article. Hollywood fights to keep its role as the world's film capital. So this is in line with what we've been discussing here. How the Hollywood system is being dismantled at the moment. So behind the glitz of the movie awards season that culminates with the Oscars on last Sunday, Hollywood is fighting a battle to keep its place at the center of the global film business. None of the 10 best picture contenders to be celebrated at Hollywood's Dolby Theatre at the Oscars last week were filmed in Los Angeles, home to most major film companies for more than a century. Nominee Wicked, for example, a prequel to the classic movie Wizard of Oz, was filmed in Britain. An organizer of the Stay in LA campaign said she backed that increase, but called on the state to do even more. She's talking about the increase in tax incentives that Newsom has instituted, including making permitting easier. That's her suggestion. We're not saying that everything should be shot in LA, but it's almost never an option anymore, she said. Smith said...
Never an option. Almost never an option. Wow.
Right. Smith said she had developed a show in which the entire culture of it was LA and Malibu. When it came to time to budget that show, they had to choose between South Africa and Australia, she said. LA was never a contender. That's the kind of thing that needs to change, because I think it's really short-sighted of us to lose this absolutely amazing industry and legacy we have here. Advocates have launched a Stay in LA campaign hoping to capitalize on the goodwill towards Angelenos following the fires. A petition calls for politicians to lift the cap on tax incentives for filming in the city for the next 3 years as part of the wildfire recovery effort. They also are urging studios to commit to increasing production in LA at least 10% over the next 3 years. So this is interesting. Look, they're grasping at straws to try and work out how to keep production in LA. The reality is it's dispersing. Hollywood is dispersing all over the world. And, they talk about tax incentives. We've talked about that on the show before, and different ways of doing it. It is what I found interesting about this article. One was that, the contenders, the top 10 contenders for the Oscars this year, none of which were shot in LA. That's pretty shocking. Yeah. And number two, that, I assume she was a producer or a production coordinator of some description. She's dealing with budgets, and seeing from the inside that, LA is not even an option, which is pretty devastating for the industry here. A lot of people are out of work. People are really struggling. And, it's interesting that they're saying, as a response to the fire recovery effort, to lift the cap on these things. I think that's a pretty short-sighted, idea. It's a good idea, I guess. I mean, anything that would bring production back to LA is a good thing. But as a recovery effort, I think it's going to take a lot more than that. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I 100% agree, man. I think that, there's only so much you can do with incentives, right? Yeah. To do the film, and what they're missing is part of it is just the cost of doing business in California. Yeah. So you can have some incentive, but then at the same time, you need people that can afford to live there for when you do your movie that maybe is 6 months out of the year if you're there. So if you can't, you look at places like here in Tennessee, like in Georgia. Georgia has some of the best incentives. Montana, people can also then live there. Right. And so you have a show like Yellowstone will be like, cool. Like they're casting their crew for most part to be like, well, this is where we live. And they want to live there. And then it helps to boost the economy in the long run. I mean, I think it's antithetical to what the Democrats in California are doing in order to give people tax breaks. So, yes, I could see them giving Hollywood production tax breaks, but I think a lot of the issues they'll still face aren't going to go away because the burden on the individual just to be able to sustain themselves in between projects will just be still that hard.
Yeah.
And I keep talking to people that are like people that have moved away from LA, and they keep, like when I have conversations, they're like, hey, how's it going there? What's happening? What's up with the productions? I was like, I don't know. I don't think there's much productions at all. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's just like, there's just not, and Jennifer's sister, it works, and on a show, but it's just like, she can't get the kind of work that she actually is trained for. Like she's trained as an AD. She should be like a second AD. And there's just so few jobs out there here in LA that it's just, it's slim pickings. It really is. Yeah. And people are moving and finding work other places because it's slim pickings here, which is crazy. The amount of, what Hollywood used to be. So
yeah, it's a disaster, really. I mean, the issue is far wider than the entertainment industry alone. Although I do think that the entertainment industry has caused a lot of hardship for a lot of people, because it is, like Siaka said, even if you were in LA and you were able to somehow, you're still only working 6 months of the year. You're on and off projects. You're getting shunt from one project to the next. There's no consistency in work. There's no loyalty to employees by the employers. And so, really, when they've shunted everyone onto contract and they're, like I've expressed before, where there's no consistency of work. You can be on a show, they decide to cut episodes, and you think you're in work for the next 3 months and you're done on Friday. That sort of stuff might help their short-term bottom line, but it doesn't help the industry overall and give it any sort of longevity. It just adds continued pressure to the workforce. And then, like you say, Siaka, saying that, talking about the wider issues of California and the high taxes and the high cost of living and all these sort of things, it's just a perfect storm. Actually, that's going to hit the industry. It's actually going to destroy the industry. Yeah. The industry is going to disperse. It's going to go worldwide. There's going to be other, like we're seeing Angel Studios and Daily Wire, there's going to be more of that happening where other studios pop up in other parts of the world, and they're going to compete with the big guys here, and it's going to change.
And the dust is going to settle, and then here we're going to be Hollywood for freedom. Here we are, right? Hollywood. We're going to be right there.
Well, and again, one last point. I think it's not a bad thing to decentralize storytelling power.
Yeah.
I think they're living in Tennessee. I did a job up in Kentucky a few months back, and there's a lot of people that want to tell the stories. And I think it's going to help Americans hear more American stories and the ability to revitalize that Americanism. So it's not just coming from, the coasts where you have to kind of have a certain ideology just to be a part of the industry. So
I totally agree with that.
Right. And this is why Hollywood for Freedom exists, because Hollywood for Freedom to me isn't LA, right? It's Hollywood for Freedom is a mindset of we're saying where we want to tell stories to this grandeur that Hollywood used to represent. But I think it's going to come from different places. So
and look at what we're dealing with at the moment. The woke ideology and the culture shaping, of propaganda and all this stuff. It's what's happened is this centralizing, the entertainment industry and centralizing the story, the global, entertainment industry in one place has meant that they can control it and that they can abuse it. And that's what's happened. We're in a place where we're trying to break out of the abuse that's taken place over so long. So I think it's an exciting time. We're at the beginning, so we can't see how it's all going to pan out, but I think it's going to be good in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. And, speaking of those 10 movies that
no one knew about except for Dune 2.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah, they weren't shot. 10 movies were shot here. That's exactly what I was going to say. So I think 9 of the 10 weren't even seen by anyone here in LA. So yeah,
Right.
That's funny.
You just mementoed me on that one. You just put the first. It's okay.
You teed it up. Yeah,
I did.
you teed it up. I was like, no one saw it. No.
Boom. Yeah, out of the park. All right. So let's move on. Speaking of dispersing, which I think Tim mentioned about 10 minutes ago, Kathleen Kennedy is going, not going. I don't know. I'm seeing some different reports here. What do you got? What do you got on this, Kathleen Kennedy?
Yes. Should I start off with Ding Dong, the witch is dead? Wait, no. Okay. Here we go. Excuse me. I'm sorry. That was for something else. Disney Star Wars, from all the reported, Disney Star Wars succession problem. Who will replace Kathleen Kennedy? Hopefully anyone else. When Dave Filoni acclaimed Star Wars, the Clone Wars animated series launched back in 2008, the premiere episode opened and crawl proclaimed great leaders inspire greatness in others. But who should Disney choose to inspire greatness in the next generation of Star Wars creatives now that the longtime Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy is retiring later this year? Wait, are they saying that was the last 10 years have been great? Okay. The job hunt will be like nothing before in Lucasfilm history. Star Wars creator George Lucas handicapped Kennedy in 2012 to run the company before selling his ownership stake into Disney, which elected to keep her in place. Now, for the first time, Disney will pick someone new to lead its galaxy far, far away. During her tenure, Kennedy guided the Star Wars brand across many celebrated achievements, such as the Hollywood Reporter, such as the franchise's return to theater with the only good new Star Wars movie, in The Force Awakens, and its successful shift to successful with the only good successful TV show, The Mandalorian. She has also been often criticized for franchise many missteps, including her lackluster movies and shows, and oversees numerous announced and discarded projects. The executive, along with Disney in general, has also often been targeted by franchise fandom. Here we go. Attack the fans for diverse casting moves and a perceived woke agenda. God, I can't stand these people. Perception that Disney boss Bob Iger has been eager to move past. But while Kennedy's pending retirement might be drawing cheers from fans online, insiders say that replacing the seasoned executive will be rather difficult. Some in the industry, from studio managers to representatives, believe that the company's senior leadership has done a poor job in training and elevating the next generation of Padawan executives from which to potentially tap a replacement. All right. One reason Kathy stuck around for so long is because there was no credible alternative, said one person who has many interactions with Lucasfilm leadership. Sources say former Lucasfilm executive Rain Roberts, who was at the company for 12 years, was being groomed by Kennedy as a likely replacement. But just last week, Roberts was announced as Searchlight's new senior VP production. Then there was details of the job itself. Kennedy was a movie producer who ended up not only overseeing new Star Wars films, but an Indiana Jones movie that sucked, and a wide range of live action and animated series that also sucked. It's a role that is less creative in nature and more blandly managerial than outsiders realized. What people don't understand is that it's not a creative job, says one producer ties to Star Wars. It's about 10%. The rest of it is dealing with Disney licensing and fans. That said, there are some potential candidates to replace Kathleen Kennedy whose names have been floated around in the past or who have been mentioned by industry observers as having some of the chops needed for one of the hottest and hardest and most scrutinized jobs in Hollywood. Dude, what? That was just so full of crap. I'm sorry. That was so like, who made the decision to hire the assistant of the guy that was like graping everybody? Like, who did that? She decided to hire this one chick to do is it Arcolite? No, it's the Acolyte. Yeah.
Acolyte.
Sorry, I always get that wrong. But it's like, they say it's 10% managerial, and she showed as a manager, she's terrible. She's terrible. They talk about one movie, Force Awakens, that came out 12 years ago. The other 2 Star Wars movies lost or they said The Last Jedi was terrible, and then the final Star Wars movie where they brought back Palpatine, like that was the first Star Wars movie to lose money. So she's hiring these people. She's doing this stuff. Any and everything. The Indiana Jones movie lost money because of what they did to Indy's character, of how all of a sudden he doesn't remember who he was from the last 4. This is trying to be nice. This article is trying to be nice, and yes, we got it from the Hollywood Reporter, so that's our fault on that one. But it's like these people are so delusional, and they're trying to keep their access by writing this. But Kathleen Kennedy's tenure at Star Wars, people need to remember, she said the Force is female. So she had an ideology going in. That ideology, you go woke, you go broke. That is a saying that is just true. And it's talking about dealing with the fans. How about you give the fans why they like the IP? That's it. You don't have, what do you mean dealing with the fans? Like, you're saying it as if like your kids you have to go home to from work, that you're like, I got to deal with my kids. No. The fans are the ones that made you even have a career in the first place, because of an industry that catered to entertaining the fans. And they stopped doing that. And all of a sudden now it's the fans' fault. And she as an executive producer. No, South Park was right. She made everything female. It's not perceptive. It wasn't perceived as woke. It was woke. You had females doing things in these shows and in these movies that without any type of hero's journey, they were just great to be great. And it lost the joy of storytelling, and it's perceived to be woke. Like the Hollywood Reporter, I see what exactly they're doing. This is gross, guys. And yes, there's plenty of people that can replace Kathleen Kennedy. She should have been replaced over the last 4 years when the earnings reports kept coming back, losing more and more money. Like, I think I saw they bought Star Wars for $4 billion. And I think they lost about 3.5 since they fired Gina Carano. Fire a real strong woman that actually fought for her life. That if you want to have a strong woman, they fired her because she wasn't on the right side of her politics. These people are insane, man.
Yeah. Let me just say this, Siaka. I really enjoyed your rant today, Siaka's rant. That was good. That was good. I love that.
Yeah, yep. Bring that back.
The 3 chapters you read from like Kathleen Kennedy's biography there, I had zero interest in. It was like so blah blah blah. It was like the other end of the Charlie's like
the teacher.
What is all this nonsense? Yeah. Just get to the commentary already. I want to hear what you have to say. So that was good. I appreciate your stance on all of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't have much. Kathleen, I keep seeing conflicting reports. So like, she is going to leave, or she's not, or like she's not. She's going to stay around, and she's going to get the replacement, but she's still going to be overseeing. Like, who knows? Like, I don't know.
Well, she is leaving her contract expires at the end of the year. Which funny, because in that whole article they did not even mention like when she's leaving. They just basically started stroking her ego. Yeah, her contract's up at the end of the year. I think they made a deal where she's not going to re-sign for anything. And so now they're making a big hoopla about, she's leaving. Well, good riddance.
Well, I just, I saw somewhere too, like they started listing the names of the people that might replace her. And they're like, Kevin Feige was in there, the Marvel guy. Like, he's really busy with Marvel. Yeah, could throw something else on his plate. He could screw up. Come on. Like,
he could struggle with that too. Like,
yeah, right. Let's make it Daredevil right here. Yeah. Make it Daredevil do this. What? What? Confusing. So confusing. Anyways, Tim, I just kind of bull rush that commentary there. Do you have something on that?
No, not a whole lot. I mean, look.
Well, don't make anything up.
Her. Thanks. Her name is Mud, pretty much. I can't understand how she's lasted so long. I just want to know what
she has on all those guys.
Yeah, like she must have something huge on all of them to be in the job this long, because all I've ever heard is complaints from the fans about what she's done. So and even then, these articles that are coming out just spruiking just how wonderful she is, and just what a great job she is, and using terms like the best producer of all time in Hollywood, all this kind of stuff, female producer of all time, using all these sort of these accolades, and so I just can't help but wonder who she slept with, or what she's done, or what she knows on,
right?
What she has on.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, listen, guys. Let me just cut this off here because I think we pretty much established we went in order today: the good, the bad, and ended with the ugly.
Yeah, we did.
Let's move on to something better to talk about because I'm more excited about our Blast from the Past movie of the week than any of that stuff, maybe other than Daredevil that we just talked about. So here it is, our Blast from the Past movie of the week.
Good morning!
Morning!
Axel Foley, that's what it is.
You are Terminator, right?
Yes.
Our Blast from the Past movie of the week this week. We're sticking with the family theme here. These are movies that, are from the past when we could watch movies and not worry about what we're going to see in them and just really enjoy them. This one, The Mighty Ducks.
Oh,
Mighty
you
Ducks.
guys went with Mighty Ducks. Hey,
Yeah,
okay,
we did.
I didn't know if that was finalized. Yeah.
Yeah. So here we go. Mighty Ducks starring Emilio Estevez and a bunch of kids and a hockey puck and a ring.
Are you just describing the cover right there? Or have you seen the movie? Yeah. You're like, starring a kid, bubblegum.
A kid with a helmet on and bubblegum.
And a hockey puck.
It's been a while since I've seen it. I did put eyes on the first half hour of it the other day, so I wanted to see it, see what. But it's a bunch of kids doing kid things, get in trouble, and then Emilio Estevez, has to take over as a coach and community service type deal, and hijinks and fun happened after that.
Gordon Bombay. Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe I remember that name.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Joshua Jackson's first big role. He was the actor in there. Yeah, he was one of the kids in there.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, was he the bigger kid, like the kind of the?
No, that was.
Who was that? That guy was.
He played Opal in Sons of Anarchy. That big kid, but Joshua Jackson was the one that was on Fringe for a long time. He was the guy on Fringe for a while. And little tidbit here: Mighty Ducks 2 inspired me to learn how to rollerblade, and so I went out after watching that movie with my football coach old rollerblades in my backyard in the back alley, and was stumbling all over the place just trying to learn to rollerblade and playing the music over and over in my head.
So here's another little bit of a little trivia here. Joss Auckland had a role in this. He was the blade guy, the old. I don't know if he was cutting the blades. He was making the hockey the skates, right? He was also the villain in Lethal Weapon 2.
Hey!
Which I would know a little bit of something about.
We always get back to Lethal Weapon somehow.
We do somehow.
All roads lead back to Lethal Weapon.
Diplomatic immunity. He held up his little diplomatic immunity. Shot him through the head.
Right through the head. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah. Anyway, so good actor, fun times. But this was the Mighty Ducks. Yeah, that's you can watch that with the family. That would be a good one.
It's a great one.
Tim, any thoughts there?
Nothing.
Never seen it.
But it is a fun old movie from what I
Again,
remember.
add to Tim's list of movies that he can watch now.
I've seen it, but it's a long time ago. I mean, it's 1992. It was a fun old movie from what I remember. Based on a true story too, isn't it? I think it was
probably
something about Anaheim Ducks. I don't follow
the Anaheim.
No, what happened was Anaheim, the Mighty Ducks Anaheim, they had just their expansion team, and they were a part of Disney that helped buy the team. So in order to kind of get them into the kind of cultural zeitgeist, they made this movie based on so that's when they're able to use their jersey in there. So it was a way to kind of go, hey, check out this new hockey team. And
that's
so
smart.
they became cool. Oh yeah, that was really cool.
Not bad. So, but there you go. There's your Blast from the Past movie of the week. Go check that out. And one last thing, Lethal Weapon. Now we do have that poll out from last week. I haven't seen lately, I think we got a few votes for Lethal Weapon. At least one. I know we have at least one vote for Lethal Weapon.
I know we have at least two for a never-ending story. Okay. If we're gonna go there, If you go, we have at least one. I know we have at least two.
As of this taping, that poll is just getting started. So we'll see how that turns out through the week. But we did get censored for popping that song in there, by the way. So if you're in, what do we say?
Germany and Slovakia.
Then you're not going to get to see that. Sorry about that.
We're sorry for last week's episode.
That's right. All of our followers over there that aren't going to get to participate in that poll. Oh my gosh. Speaking of polls, did we just skip right through Tim's poll? Did we have Tim's poll today?
You did.
Yeah.
No, we
we
do.
did. I want
Final words. This should
Let's
be
do
Tim
it. What's
Paul.
Tim's poll?
Yeah,
Tim's poll. Blah blah blah. Go.
The poll for this week is, I think in terms of Disney Plus and all the Star Wars stuff and the Marvel stuff, do people miss the movie going experience? That's a good question. That's a question I have for this week. So, do people miss the movie going experience? It's definitely changed, in my opinion. My movie going habits have changed. I wonder if other people's have too, and if they miss it.
That's a good poll.
That's a great
Tim's
poll.
poll. Drop it in the chat if you guys have an opinion about that. Has the movie going experience changed? Well, if you were going to see any of those 10 movies that were up for Oscars, I'd say that.
But 2/3 of them are on streaming, so you can't go see them in a movie anyway.
Right.
Can't even see them.
Yeah, it's pretty dismal. It's pretty dismal. And I know that, when you plan a night out and you think, let's go see a movie, and then you look at what's there, it's like, how many times do you have to be disappointed before it's not even something you think about doing anymore? So,
Right.
Yeah. Anyhow, well, I that's a good poll, though. I agree with you. Like, it probably has changed a lot. I remember going to the movies a lot when I actually had a pass to go, but that's a whole nother story. Hey, if you're not a part of the database, go to hollywoodforfreedom.com, join the database there. If you're an industry professional or a supporter, if you want to be a donor, you can donate there as well. We would love for more support to be coming in to keep this show running, so we can keep bringing this to you every week. Our strength is in our numbers, so we do want you guys to join that database. And make sure to follow us on Rumble, X, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts if you want to just listen to us there. But you get to see our smiling. You don't get to see our smiling face. You just get to hear us laugh over there on a podcast. But follow us on all those. Give us thumbs up as you're jumping on and you're liking us. That's all really good stuff. So final thoughts, real quick, guys. Let's do real quick final thoughts and then get out of here. Siaka, what do you got for a final thought?
The Tim's poll, I got to answer it now. I miss going to the movies and that whole experience. I miss it. I miss talking to random people about how awesome the movie was.
Okay. Jim?
My final thought is I can't wait to see how this mustache of Siaka's turns out. It's going to be fun.
I thought I told you not to talk about that again.
Well, just poking the bear. All right. Listen, my final thought is there's this movie called My Dead Friend Zoe. Morgan Freeman is in it. Ed Harris is in it. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. It's in the theaters now. It's a story about the story behind the making of the movie is really cool. But it's a veteran type movie where, he's coming back dealing with, it's a female that's coming back dealing with war stuff. But the guy, actually, it was based on his life. Anyways, if you get a chance, go look for it right now, because I don't know if it's still in the theaters when you're hearing this or seeing this. But these are the kind of movies we really want to be supporting and getting behind, because it's got a really good story. Even the story behind the story of the film itself is really good. But check that out. It's called My Dead Friend Zoe. All right. Okay. And that is our show for today, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are the new Hollywood for free thinkers, where being creative doesn't mean you need to sacrifice wholesome ideals, where freedom and family is a good thing, and where you can be a well-rounded and healthy creative working in the new Hollywood. Find us on hollywoodforfreedom.com. Join the database there if you're an industry professional or a supporter. Thank you guys for being here. Siaka with his Daredevil. Tim without a Daredevil. Me with a Daredevil.
Hey, we wore all red today too. You and I. Yeah, I didn't plan that. So
we got that memo. We're in Spatico. It's all good.
Yeah, Marshals for life.
Marshals for life. Hey, new shows dropping every Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Until next time, Galatians 5:13.